Got a minute? I just saw something online about a new AI model, Owen from OpenAI. It sounds interesting, but I'm not sure if I quite get it.
Oh, the OpenAI model? Well, that's pretty exciting stuff. What do you want to know?
Well, they say it's something different from the other AI models. How so, and why is everybody making a big deal about it?
That's a great question. It's actually quite interesting once you get to know how it actually works.
Okay, but remember, I'm not one of your AI nerd friends, so keep it simple, Jeepers.
Challenge accepted. Let me start with something we both understand. Me occasionally saying things without thinking.
Oh, you mean when I ask you about how my new haircut looks?
Right, not my finest moments. But imagine if I were to think before giving an answer. That's what OpenAI's O1 model does. Most AI models, or large language models as we call them, are like those friends who always has an answer for any question you ask, even if they are not always right. They spit out a response based on the patterns that they have learned without thinking what they are going to say.
So, like you when I ask you about my cooking.
I'm digging myself into a hole, aren't I? But yes, kind of. Now, open model is trained different. It's been trained to do something we call as chain of thought reasoning.
Oh, fancy AI jargon. Do tell.
It means that Owen, before giving an answer, goes through a step-by-step process, thinking through the answer and all the different aspects possible before giving you the final answer, and then arrives at a conclusion.
So, it's like teaching AI to show its work?
Exactly. It's like what your math teacher always said. Don't just write your answer, show me how you got to the answer as well.
So, it's not like pulling out answers out of thin air just like some AI fortune teller.
It's more like, well, me on a good day, when I think before I speak.
So, basically, never.
Hey, I will have you know, I think very carefully before making a decision.
Oh, really? Then what's your train of thought when deciding for what to have in dinner?
Step 1. Check what's in the fridge. Step 2. See what we can cook without burning down the kitchen. And step 3. See if we can order as a takeout. See? Flawless AI reasoning.
Wow, truly a pinnacle of AI at work.
Now imagine if we applied this kind of complex thought process into math, science and coding problems. The LLM would think through its process before giving the final answer and hence it would give a better answer. And as you can see from their blog, what they show is that OpenAI O1 is much better in competitive math, coding competitions as well as PhD level science questions compared to GPT-4o which is just at 13.4% compared to O1 which is at 83.3% and similarly for other benchmarks.
Okay, but how did they make Owen capable of reasoning?
Well, they use something called as reinforcement learning algorithm to teach the model how to think productively using chain of thought during its training process. They also had a new paradigm shift where earlier the LLMs were supposed to be performing much better when adding more training time compute. But instead, what they now show is that even if you add test time compute to the model, it is able to perform much better during the inference. So what it means is that if you give more compute to the model during the inference time, it will be able to get to much better answers.
Okay, so now I will be using Owen for all my tasks.
Well, not quite. It depends on what you really need to do because it will be time consuming. As you can see from their O1 mini report, the GPT-4o and O1 mini were able to get the answer for the question asked within 9 seconds and 3 seconds. But the O1 preview model took more than 25 seconds to actually come to an answer for that same question. And as you can also see from the human preference evaluation, people generally also like GPT-4o more for personal writing and editing text compared to O1 model because maybe it doesn't take as much time in generating a response which you would actually like compared to GPT-4o1 which would take much more time to give you the same kind of answer.
Okay, I get it now. So Owen is like having a really smart assistant who think things through, but sometimes you want a really quick answer without all that thought process.
Exactly. It's all about using the right tool for the job. Sometimes O1 shines out when you want complex reasoning for math, science, and coding problems. But for simpler tasks, other models might be faster and just as effective.
Well, Mr. AI expert, now I think I get it. And it's pretty interesting. Thanks for breaking it down.
See, I told you AI can be very interesting. Next time, maybe I will teach you quantum computing.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. One mind-bending tech explanation is my per day limit.
Fair enough. How about we use some of the human intelligence to think about what we want to make for dinner today?
Now that's a type of reason that we get behind.
Alright.
If you enjoy such kind of content, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, this is Anubhav. Bye bye.